And we're live.
Okay, I think we're live streaming now. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Municipal Revitalization and Heritage Advisory Committee meeting of June 16th. And it's about 9:06, I think. According to my watch, or 9:07.
It is.
Thank you. So we haven't met for a while, so it's nice to see people, and some others will be joining us in the course of the meeting. So I'm just going to move my agenda over a bit so I can see more people. There we go. Great. Okay. So the first, we've opened the meeting and called it to order, and we need the approval of the agenda, which you have been sent. Could somebody move that, please? Councillor Belch, seconder, Bruce Lepper. Thank you. All in favor? Say aye. Thank you. I think I heard that. Okay, so the agenda is approved. And item 4, conflict of interest. Does anybody have any pecuniary interest to declare for this meeting? Hearing none, I move on to item 5, closed session, and we aren't having closed session today. And moving on to item 6, the minutes of April 21st, 2022, our last meeting. So I need a motion to approve those minutes. Somebody, who was that? Was that Bruce? That was Bruce? Thank you, Bruce. Second. Thank you, Ashley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Carried. Great. Okay. And now, is there any business arising from the minutes, or it will almost everything be dealt with in the work plan? I can't see anything, but Madam Clerk, is there anything that I'm missing in your opinion, or that we should deal with?
No, through your chair, Ross, I believe all of it will be spoke to during the work plan.
That was my impression. Everybody all right with that? So we will move on then to reports, and Ms. Clark is not with us yet. So can we move that? We'll just leap over that and deal with that when she joins the meeting. And so item 8.2, the financial report from Ms. Ayot. Do you have anything new to tell us?
Through you, Chair, no, actually I don't. I apologize. I had hoped to get the report run just so everybody could take a look at it, because obviously we haven't met in a couple of months, but unfortunately I didn't do that. But there hasn't really been any change from the last report. Hopefully there'll be more to report next month.
Okay, so thanks very much. So I guess we need, since we don't have the BIA report yet, we can move on then to the work plan, which you should have a copy of. And there's some things that will be revealed in that meeting. So item number 1 on the work plan, the Dale Monument restoration. So I believe, Madam Clerk, you have something to share with that with us.
Thank you, Chair Ross. Yes, so I was speaking with Campbell Monuments, and they will be coming as soon as the ground hardens and there's not as much water. So they're thinking hopefully in August they will be able to come in and finish the restorations to the Dale Monument.
That's great. Any questions about that to us, Cindy? Terrific. That'll be lovely to have done. So that's really good. Item 2, Springville and Ebenezer Cemetery. Anything to report on that?
There's no update in the staff.
There's no update.
Keeping an eye on that. Yep.
Okay. So, and then item 3, which is the exciting one, the updating of the heritage bylaws. And so, Ms. Ayot, is that your?
Yeah, it's kind
Ms.
of
Ellis. Ms. Ellis, I don't know. All of staff.
It's kind of a tandem exercise. So we did receive 5-6 applications, Karen, resumes for the position, and we are interviewing 4. Starting, we're just trying to get a date coordinated with staff to start that interview process. First one was to start as of June 1st, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But hopefully we'll be able to get them to start as soon as possible.
Great. Okay. And I see Councillor Huntley has joined the meeting. So Councillor, we've jumped right down to the work plan, item 3. And did you catch that? We about the interviews are starting. That's correct, Bridget? So interviews are about to start for the position, and
Yes.
the hope is to have someone in place as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, yeah. The funding is actually, they're very flexible. They kind of understand, that, things happen, things change. But the funding contract, I believe, was to start as of June 1st. But we can just let them know that it'll be pushed back, but we'd ideally like this person to start right away. We've selected 4 candidates to interview, and as soon as we can get a date, I think it's actually Yvette and Carly that kind of coordinate that interview. So as soon as we can get those dates coordinated, which I think they're trying to do either next week or the week after, then we'll be able to select somebody and get that person up and running.
Great. Any questions for Bridget on this item?
I don't know, Karen, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, through you, Chairman Ross. Bridget summed it up very well. We're moving along, and hopefully we'll get a good candidate. And by the time we meet again in September, we'll have more substantial things to report.
Okay, good. All right, moving down, the Heritage Awards. Again, I think Bridget, both Bridget and Karen, you're both listed as staff dealing with this. And I know there has been at least one submission.
Two.
I think. 2, okay.
2, yeah, we got 2.
So carry on.
Yeah, so I think we had kind of a little discussion staff-wise. We couldn't remember if we had an actual committee dedicated to review the awards, or if that was just something staff did and brought it to the committee. We were kind of under the impression it was the latter, but I just want to make sure you guys were in agreement with that.
Bruce, you might remember, were you part of the that?
I'm trying to think. Might have been. A lot of what we did came back to the main committee anyhow. So that may have been why it ended up being part of the committee's overall mandate,
Okay. So I think our next step, I did speak with with Kyle, chief building official, and just kind of said, when you're out and about, is there anything that jumps out at you that could be, he couldn't think of anything off the top of his head, but he was going to kind of take a better look and see, and kind of keep that in the back of his mind. They are kind of rolling entries, so it's not like we have a deadline. So if there's somebody that he sees that he thinks could be a candidate, he's going to let us know. So for now we have the 2. So I think if we maybe Karen and I can just kind of review the 2 applicants and see if they're both appropriate for the awards. And maybe we can bring that to the September meeting, that we coordinate some sort of a little event now that we're able to do that.
Yeah. Yes, Bruce.
Okay, you did see it, because I can only see one picture. I wondered who the 2 candidates are, because if it isn't included, I would think the Millbrook Dental, if that's the proper name, at the corner of King and Distillery should be considered. They've done a superb job.
I'm so glad to hear you say that.
I think that is such
they're
an
actually a
transformation.
Yes, they're actually a CIP recipient.
Okay.
So they did receive funding through the community improvement plan. Congratulations, group, that the plan is working very well. So congratulations to you for putting that in place. So we might have to kind of be careful how we do that. He has done a great job. It's a good investment.
Yes.
So can I get back to you on that one?
Yes, you can.
Did you want?
Councillor Huntley, did you want to say something?
Yeah, sorry, through you, Chair. I think it's a great thing to raise attention to. Like, not only was it CIP, but they also, went to get nominated for a Heritage Award. I think that's fantastic news. Like,
Yeah, do we have to be sensitive that we're the ones that are nominating for the Heritage Award and also providing incentive? Is there any conflict of interest there?
I guess there's a potential conflict.
If there isn't, I say I'd be in total agreement, but that's
I mean, just
my
a
own
question,
personal opinion. Yeah.
did you have to approve the design before they got the CIP grant? Or because what we're really, I think what we're rewarding is the design and the heritage aspect of it. But
So we did, yeah, we met with the contractor to understand exactly what they were doing because they were painting. I mean, ideally, I think the thought is to kind of sandblast, which is more of an expense, like it's an expensive project. So the painting, we were a little bit nervous about. So that's why we scheduled a meeting with the contractor to understand exactly what he was doing. As it turns out, I think he did a fantastic job. So yeah, so there is that component that we did meet with the contractor.
well, through you, Chair, I would say, Bridget, let's make sure that we don't have a conflict. And if we don't,
Yeah.
I think then we should, really tote this and hold it up as a win.
Yeah, I mean, we can promote it other ways. If there is a conflict, we can certainly promote it other ways. And I really think we should, because I think, that's there's been some key projects. That one, the cathedral, have been some really good projects that we could really promote as part of the effectiveness of the CIP. The pastry peddler patio is another one. Millbrook Mercantile is going to be putting out a patio shortly. They're just waiting for the filming to conclude. So there's a lot that has contributed to the vibrancy of downtown. So even if there is a conflict of interest, we definitely should be promoting that kind of in a separate campaign.
And my understanding is that painted brick actually is a legitimate historical technique. And this is the first time I've seen a restoration done that way. So, I mean, I think it's an interesting project, notwithstanding the CIP grant. I think it's just on its own merits, whether they got the grant or not. It's worth recognizing, but that's just my opinion. So we'll leave that up to the experts on conflict of interest to decide. But so, okay, that's good. Anything else under Heritage Awards? And of course, anybody can nominate. So
yeah, if there isn't a conflict of interest, maybe what I'll do is I'll shoot over a nomination form for you, Councillor Huntley, to fill out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, perfect. Beauty.
Okay, can we move on then to the mural on the wall, the item 5? We're okay with leaving Heritage Awards. Anything more to say? No. Okay, then item 5. This is like a bad dream that keeps coming back.
Yeah, and I had hoped to be a little further ahead on this, guys, and I do apologize. We just to kind of give you an update. So the staff kind of did a site review. I mean, we do have to still take it before council just to get permission. So just to refresh everybody's memory, I think we were looking at Station Park as a potential location for a mural. Initially, what we were proposing was a freestanding mural. When we went down, Yvette actually had a really good idea, and we all kind of agreed with it because it does kind of conserve space that can be used for more park space. But she had actually thought it might be better to mount the mural to the side of the shelter. They are going to be repainting the shelter and kind of doctoring it up. The idea of putting the mural down and kind of making it into a little bit more of a nicer park space is something that I think park staff have kind of had their their eye on for a while. So it's a good conversation, and that we have some money to put towards it. We didn't, unfortunately, get the Main Street Activator funding that I put in actually for the mural project. But we did, there was a regional tourism organization had some tourism relief funding that they released. It was very quick turnaround. So I put in I put together an application. It was more geared towards trail restoration, just because that was kind of the theme of the funding program. But I did include some upgrades to the entrance to the trail system, which Station Park is or Station Trail entrance is right there at the trailhead. So I was able to get some funding to kind of clean up that area and put some benches. So I just got that Monday morning. So that's good. We got $25,500, some of which can go to, we can put with the 7,000 to kind of create that space. Having said all that, so there is, as you guys know, there is kind of that little wet area, right? It's kind of like I think it's a creek or runs through it. Obviously the artesian well is there. So the idea is we'd like to clean that up, but there would be some drainage and grading and all that sort of stuff that we would have to do to the site. So we will need to sit down and talk to Orca about that to see if there's any permits that are required for that. And then I just have to get confirmation on the size of the structure that we would put the mural, attach the mural to, and just get an updated quote. Because what Peter got was different sizes, but it was based on a freestanding mural. So if we just do a smaller scale, and it would just really be only one side. So just have to get an updated quote for that. So that's my update. I had hoped to be a lot further ahead in terms of actually having a report to council, but unfortunately that just hasn't happened. So it's next on my target list.
Well, that's actually very helpful to hear. So there's, there's movement, and then the whole grant issue. So other questions for Ms. Ayotte? Any someday Rome wasn't built in a day. So these things take time and effort, obviously. I guess my question is, Bridget, is there anything that any members of this committee can do to help this? Because I know how weary laden the staff is with so much, but there's some things that we just can't do. Staff has to do. So
yeah, I think I think it's all at the staff level right now.
Yeah.
And I've just pushed you guys up to the priority list. So that's kind of next on my list to attack.
Okay.
So just bear with me.
Happily. Are there any other questions on this? Okay. If not, then we shall move down the list. Items 6, 7, and 8 all deal with CIP. And again, Bridget, that's all your bailiwick, but is there anything new to report? You've hinted at some things, but
yeah, so we do have some of the projects from, so we have 2020 projects and we have 2021 projects that are starting and finishing kind of at the same time. Just COVID halted a lot of 2020, even some of the 2019 projects. Just because people weren't able to get workers, suppliers, supplies. But things are moving forward. As you can tell, the Millbrook Dental has done their project. Whale Chiropractic is actually going to start their project, which is a paint. And they're going to go, basically, they're just going to refresh the colors that they have, which is part of their approved color scheme within the streetscape design guidelines. So they will be starting that project, I think within the next couple of weeks. So we will be seeing that. I mentioned before, Millbrook Mercantile has the patio project. So they will be, Lance had just sent me a quick note yesterday saying that once the filming's over, he hopes to get the patio out. Yeah, so those are kind of 6 and 7 together. And it sounds like everybody was happy with the Millbrook Dental project. Just thought I was going to ask the committee what your thoughts were, but it sounds like everybody, I have not heard one negative thing. Anything I've seen on social media has been really positive. So, and personally myself, I do think it looks beautiful, but always open to hear any other comments. The 2021 township-wide CIP, we do have to do an official plan amendment to permit a community improvement plan that extends to the entire township. So there's process involved in that. So we do have to have a public meeting. We have to provide public notice of the meeting. So we've posted that both in the Examiner and Peterborough this week. So if you happen to get those, you'll see them. The meeting will take place at the regular council meeting on July 4th. And with that will be the official plan amendment, the proposed implementing bylaw, and the proposed CIP. So that will go before council for review and consideration, and it'll go back to be passed at the August meeting. That's kind of our tentative schedule. Well, it's our schedule. We've got before council. We want to try and get it in before August, both from a funding perspective and from a council perspective. I think we're lame duck after August. Cindy, help me out.
75% of our council's not returning. We will be in lame duck after August 19th. Yes.
Yeah, so I think planning matters can still go forward is my understanding, but which this would be considered a planning matter, but still the funding, we want to get this CIP done and approved by August. So, and things are moving in that direction. Things are going forward. So anybody that wishes to review the CIP, a draft is available on the township website under Build and Invest Township-wide Community Improvement Plan. Anybody that wants a link, I'm happy to forward that in an email.
Good.
I'm just going to say, perhaps through you, Chair Rossbridge, if you can circulate that link to the whole committee, I think that will be beneficial, just so everybody's in the loop that's not even on our call today. Great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Good idea. Very good idea. Okay.
If I may, Chairman Ross, I would like to just clarify something from the planning part. With the official plan amendment, it is a Planning Act application, and depending on the nature of the comments we receive at the public meeting, staff may be recommending to council that they approve the amendment the same day, because we really need that official plan amendment in process of county approval before council can adopt the CIP. So it's a very tight timing window, but we are optimistic that comments will be relatively minor, but we do appreciate receiving whatever anyone has to say. So
thanks.
Just to clarify that for you.
Thanks, Karen. Okay. Any other questions concerning this or concerns? All right. That takes us to the end, of the end of the work plan. Well, Dale, Springville, and Ebenezer, that's the signage. Is there an update on that? That somebody was working on that. Karen and Anna were working on that. Karen, anything to update on that?
Yes, through you, Chairman Ross, and members of the committee. So with the help of Jess Octoloni and the and the Cabin Monaghan Planning and Building Department, we do have proposed wording for the DL Parkette signage.
Ah,
So
wonderful.
as per previous discussions, there is a very brief wording for signage, and then there is a more elaborate description for the QR code.
Good.
So Cindy has popped it up onto the screen. So if everyone wants to have a look, we are prepared to move forward with any recommendations that you have and any comments that you might have about this format, because we are also working on similar signage for Springville and Ebenezer. And I can tell you that Ebenezer is very challenging. We are having a very hard time finding information. Springville, we do have more information on. It's a little bit of a challenge in that some of the descriptions are not fulsome in the historical documents. And we've had some drafts that refer to the location of the current Springville United Church, but as you're probably aware, over time, that current location will probably not exist.
Yeah.
So we've got to find a way to reference things accurately. So that will be coming in the future, but the words for this signage and the format is here for your review today.
I can see eyes scrolling the screen, so just ask me if you want me to move it down.
So let's maybe deal with the sign first. Does anybody, please, no, any objection to the to this wording?
Very well.
It seems to be succinct, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
So do we need a motion to accept this or not?
Through you, Chair Ross, what I would like to do is I would like us to do a motion to approve all of it, and I'm going to copy and paste this verbiage right into our minutes so that when any of us are no longer here, we can come back and we'll know that this is what the whole group has decided on. So once we finalize it, whatever that finalized verbiage is, that's what I'm going to copy and paste into the minutes.
Oh, thank you, Councillor Huntley. You're a good. Are you a Scot or an Irish background? He's just the spelling of whiskey in terms of the Scottish versus the Irish and American version of that. Councillor Belch, you probably are aware of this too, or maybe you're more of a wine drinker than a whiskey drinker. But anyway,
I must admit that I do more wine than whiskey.
I think in Canadian English both are acceptable, but that's easy to change if we want to, the spelling of whiskey. So maybe we can just leave that.
You're going to debate it.
I would imagine through you, Chair Ross, that there is probably a term or a reference that they've pulled this way that they've used distilling of whiskey. Probably is spelt like that. If I was to guess, I'm sure Ms. Ellis can speak to that.
Yeah. Okay, well.
We'll double check.
Okay. we don't want the cabin blazers to arise again. And anyway, so, okay. So everybody okay, except for that one minor possible edit in terms of the sign wording? Can we move down to look at the QR code then? Assume everyone's taken a course in speed reading.
Typically, through you, Chair, when you talk about historical money, like to exceed $400, typically you kind of say that would equal X in today's dollars, right?
Right.
I don't know if you want to do that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and it's not that easy to find out sometimes. But although I know there's an online converter that I was hearing about on a historical website I read or listen to.
Yeah, it just adds a level of perspective to it, right?
Yeah, because it obviously be worth a lot more in today's. So that's something to note. Thank you. That looks good to me, except for that one quibble.
Yeah, likewise.
Mm-hmm.
And is there more underneath that, or is that it? Madam Clerk, is there more underneath that? Are you there?
I am here. We can move down to the church if you
Oh,
guys are
yeah.
good with the top section.
Okay, thank you. I think so.
The clerk doesn't speed read.
Let's see. Looks good to me.
When you say cemetery abandoned, does that mean everybody got up and left?
Do we want to go there? I don't know how we, maybe people have ideas how we address that. I mean, it's no longer technically a cemetery. So it is an abandoned cemetery. It's not maintained, as the BAO takes no interest in it. We don't want them to, right? So
that is correct. That's common cemetery lingo.
Okay.
Through you, Chairman Ross, to Councilor
yeah.
Huntley.
Okay. Yeah. We don't want ground penetrating radar or anything like that. So no, that looks good to me. Any other comments? With the one suggestion, which is a good and interesting suggestion, that if we could find an equivalent in today's dollars, of course that will change, but you know what $400 roughly would be in today's dollars.
Through you, Chairman Ross, we will try to find the converter that you spoke of, and if we can do that and we have an amount, we may circulate it around just to informally by email to make sure that you're all good with that number.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think it's a showstopper. I think it's a
no. I think my sense is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we're good to go with this with maybe 2 tweaks, and that's.
I did find something on Google. I don't know how reliable it is, but $400 and $1,800 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $9,127 today.
Ooh. Okay. Bruce, you had your hand up, I think.
Yes, I did. I was
Thanks,
just going to comment on the word whiskey. Do we know whether or not, I mean, since they were Irish, it's quite possible they made Irish whiskey, and the spelling is correct for whiskey, for Irish whiskey, with the E.
Good point.
If they did make Scotch, then I think my understanding, you do have to take out the E. So it's just a case of if you can find out. More than likely, since they're Irish, I would think they would have made an Irish Scotch. You know, people in those days, I think Scotch was Scotch, you know.
Was hooch.
Whiskey was whiskey. Yeah.
I don't think you can make an Irish Scotch.
No.
No.
Well, who knows? You know, it could have just been some kind of hooch that, you know, approximated whiskey. But I think we can.
I'm comfortable with that spelling, personally. But if they want it changed, that's okay too.
You know, it's like license, but no, well, it's not quite like that. But anyway. But are we happy enough that we can move to accept this with 2 possible tweaks?
Yes.
So and Cindy, you did want a motion.
Yes, please, just so we can
capture
so
it. So Bruce Lepper, would you like to move acceptance?
I will move.
Thank you.
Adoption.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Huntley, thank you. And all in favor? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? Carried. Oh,
this is wonderful. Great job,
wonderful.
Karen.
Thank you so much. Oh, dear me. Good. It's nice to have this done. That's great. And thank you for all the hard work. I think it's really interesting and it's succinct. So, you know, it's a win-win. Great. Okay, so I think that's the work plan. We have skipped over something on the agenda, which I forgot.
BIA.
Oh yeah, is Heather here? No, she wasn't able to make it so far. So I guess we don't want to wait around twiddling our thumbs, so we may have to defer her report, a fuller report, unless Councillor Huntley, you can report on her behalf.
I can give you a brief update. Obviously, you know, we had a festival last weekend. I hope lots of you attended. It was seemed to be quite well received. Other than that, getting ready for Ladies' Night in August, and then another fall festival in October, I believe. are kind of the big things on the BIA agenda. You know, and as I believe Bridget mentioned, things like you know, a patio for the mercantile is set to come after filming, and yeah. Other than that, things are coming. A couple new stores have opened, so.
I think the event you referred to was very, from what I heard, very, very well received. So that's
it was
that's
a lot
great.
of fun. Sure.
Yeah.
For you, Chair Ross, to Councillor Huntley, do we have a date for Ladies' Night? A new date?
Yeah, I just heard it a few minutes ago.
It
August,
is.
It's a
I'll look it
Sunday,
up.
right?
Yeah,
A
it's
Su-
August
Sunday.
7th.
August
Okay.
7th.
And
August 7th?
is there a time frame that we've somewhat allocated?
I think they were looking kind of 11 to 4, right, Ryan?
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Sorry, that wasn't a big guys in the spot. Perfect. Thank you, though.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. All right. So it's late. It's
Heather would have
really,
been spot on that.
yeah, Ladies' Day. Or well, okay.
That sounds a little tawdry.
It does. Even the term lady nowadays, I don't know, but as long as we have gentlemen as well. But anyway, that's up to the BIA. It's not our decision. And great. So that I think that will suffice as a report. If people are any questions for Councillor Huntley in terms of the BIA. All right, hearing none, then we're proposing a date change for the September meeting, which is entirely my fault because I'm going to be away for 2 weeks in September. So we're suggesting not meeting. Cindy, help me out here.
No problem. And I don't want you to take full responsibility because I believe Councillor Huntley and Councillor Belch will also be at the OEMC conference. So
oh, good. I feel better.
That same time span. Yeah. So I think we do need to shift this, and we're looking at September 22nd, or the. Give me 1 second, and I'll confirm this. Oh. Yeah, or the 29th. Whatever worked better for the committee.
And now, when am I away? I'm away. I wrote it down and I've lost the paper now. Just a sec.
I can find it.
I'm away till the 23rd. So
the 29th then, if
well, if you want me, yeah. I get back.
Well, we do, because this committee will only convene once again, right? Like,
yeah,
so
yeah. So it'd be good if we're all here, or that's great. So is that okay? The was the 29th?
Yep.
Work for people? Okay, thanks very much for that. So again, do you need a motion for that, Cindy, or not?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, so could somebody move that then, please? So thank you, Ashley, and seconded Bruce Lepper. Thank you very much. So all in favor? I see hands carried. Thank you. Good. Okay, so I think we've reached the end, I believe, unless I'm misreading the agenda. And our next meeting will be on the 29th of September. Yes.
Chairman Ross, if I could just add something.
Yeah, please.
Just for information, I'm not sure people are aware that during the storm, the top of the steeple blew off Springville United Church. I'm not sure, Ashley, if blew off is the right thing, but it's part of it is now on the ground. So the church property is now fenced off, and MTO is obviously it's their property, so they are dealing with that. I'm keeping in touch with Kyle. Members of the committee, we did approach MTO previously about obtaining a couple of artifacts from the church before they demolish it. So that I'm just to let you know, I'm still going to keep in touch with MTO just to find out what is happening and if there's a way to get a window or something out of there that we could preserve at the Springville Cemetery site. We are still pursuing that. So just if you drive by, you will see that there is fencing around, and a part of the steeple is on the north side of the building on the ground.
But thanks for that information, Ms. Ellis. Okay. And Bridget, yes, you're muted.
Yeah, just I wanted to quickly update just that there is going to be filming going on in the township. They are filming Titans. So any of you budding superheroes that want to be an extra, maybe show up downtown next week. But just in case, so there will be some road closures as part of that. There are 3 potential locations, one on Main Street, not potential, they're moving forward. Main Street, they're doing a shot just at the house on 41 Main Street. So there'll be some activity going on in that area. Then that's going to be starting, they start set up on Friday or Sunday, one or the other. And then they'll be moving to King Street, predominantly in front of the Nexicom building and inside the Nexicom building. So that'll be the 22nd to the 25th. And then they're proposing to do just a Zion line shot. That's not going to impact anybody really. It's just kind of a side of the road shot, but just wanted to give you an update.
Thanks very much. That's good to know. Okay, well, if that's it, I think somebody could move adjournment. Thank you, Bruce Lepper. Anybody? And Ryan Huntley seconding it. All in favor? Carried. And that's it. So I guess we'll be lame duck next time too. So, and hopefully we'll be able to meet in person in September.
Yeah.
So
we're working with all of our powers in the corporate services department to make that happen. Let me promise you that.
Great. Okay.
So we're hoping, yep.
Well, have a good summer, everyone. Safe, enjoyable, and enjoy your whiskey, spelled however
However you choose.
However